Hello everyone, my name is Nick, and this week's plant of the week is Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, commonly referred to as the mini Monstera for the way the leaves look literally just like a miniature version of the more common plant Monstera deliciosa. Rhaphidophora tetrasperma is native to areas of Thailand and Malaysia, and its name in Latin, tetrasperma, refers to four-seeded or four seeds. Tetra meaning four, sperma meaning seed. So this name of this plant has something to do with its biology that I'm unaware of. So I'd love to hear in the comments if you're aware of why it has its name in Latin. But Rhaphidophora tetrasperma is a very easy and vigorous plant to grow in the home. You can see I have this cutting right here that I've been growing for a number of months, but I actually have this trellis behind me here that goes up probably about 5 or 6 feet just full of Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, as this plant is just, as I said, a very vigorous grower in the home. I have mine underneath the grow light, and it really loves the grow light and takes to it very well. But if you're going to give this plant natural light, I think a north or east facing window would be best, because I think a west or south facing window would probably burn these leaves. Rhaphidophora tetrasperma falls into the Araceae family, which means that it's classified as an aroid. So it's also very closely related to philodendrons and Monstera, which is, as I said, where it gets its namesake. This plant, for watering, I would err on underwatering for this plant. I find if you water this plant a little bit too much, not only will the older leaves turn yellow, but if you look on the backside of this leaf, or if you hold it up to light, you'll probably see it looking a bit waterlogged, which is something I noticed with my trellis one right here if I give it a little bit too much water. So I'm probably only watering my Rhaphidophoras at the most once a week, but I think I'm probably holding off a little bit and probably watering them roughly every 10 to 12 days in my home. Of course, it's going to be different for everybody's home, depending on the conditions that they have and depending on the amount of light that they're giving it, how dry their home is. So like I said, there's a lot of different conditions involved, but this is a very fast growing plant. It's a plant that I know sometimes it can cost a pretty penny. The price kind of fluctuates depending on where you are and where you're purchasing it from, but if you do have to spend a pretty penny on this plant, be rest assured that this plant is going to grow like a weed for you if you give it the right conditions. This plant is super easy to propagate. If you've ever propagated your standard golden pothos, it's pretty much that same exact method where I would cut in between two nodes. A node is where the leaf meets the stem and you can see a very visible nub or aerial root coming off, and I would just want to submerge an aerial root or maybe two aerial roots into water or sphagnum moss and let that root up for a little bit of time and wait for it to put off some new growth before I go ahead and repot it in a new pot. It'll probably take about a month or two for this plant to root and start off putting off new growth. So very easy to do. This is actually a vine that I propagated off the plant that's growing behind me here. So a really easy and rewarding plant to grow. I highly recommend growing it in your home. As I said, the price is kind of all over the place. So if you do have to pay a little bit extra, I would keep in mind that this plant is very, very easy to grow. Just make sure that you're giving it enough light, but not too much light. And you would err on underwatering to be sure not to give this plant yellow leaves and waterlogged leaves. So that's gonna about do it for this week's plant of the week, Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you grow this plant at home, I would love to hear your care tips as well. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. If you don't already, follow me on Instagram at PhillyFoliage, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great day!